You wash your hands every day, but are you truly clean? What if the most dangerous bacteria are lurking where you never scrub? Stay with me because by the end of this story, you'll see your body in a whole new way. Imagine this. You're 60, healthy, independent, and finally retired. You're thinking of traveling the world, starting that garden, spoiling the grandkids. But something starts to feel off. You feel more tired than usual. A few mysterious fevers. A nagging rash that won't go away. You go to the doctor and the tests come back inconclusive. It's just part of aging, they say. But is it? Let me introduce you to Charles, a real patient I once had. At 63, Charles was strong and full of life. But over a year, he visited me 6 times. Flu-like symptoms, red blotches on his skin, random fevers, fatigue. He thought it was diet, stress, maybe even early signs of something serious. We ran tests, nothing definitive. Until one day, during a routine check, I noticed something behind his ear, a moist, irritated patch of skin. "Charles, when was the last time you cleaned behind your ear?" I asked. He looked confused, then sheepish. "I don't know. High school." I swabbed the area, and what the lab found confirmed my suspicion. A complex colony of gram-negative bacteria thriving there, including strains that could, if they entered the bloodstream, cause systemic infections. This was our breakthrough. The truth is, after the age of 60, the body's defense systems, the skin barrier, immune system, and mucous membranes begin to weaken. Areas that used to resist infection now become susceptible breeding grounds for pathogens, and certain forgotten body parts become silent harbors for bacteria, fungi, and even parasites. Today, I'll walk you through the 5 most dangerous spots, the ones most often ignored. Let's begin with the belly button. This tiny depression is one of the most overlooked areas in personal hygiene, especially in older adults where mobility may decline or abdominal girth increases. The navel can become a warm, enclosed environment, perfect for anaerobic bacteria. In one study, researchers identified over 67 distinct bacterial species in human navels, including some related to staph and even E. coli. If left uncleaned, this buildup can lead to inflammation, cysts, and in extreme cases, systemic infections. Then there's the scalp. Now you may think, but I wash my hair. That's not enough. Shampoo cleans your strands, not necessarily your scalp. In older adults, sebum production slows in some areas and increases in others, leading to patchy, waxy buildup. The hair may trap heat, moisture, and oils, fostering a microenvironment that promotes the growth of bacteria and yeast. Many cases of seborrheic dermatitis, a skin condition that appears as flaky, scaly patches, are misdiagnosed as dandruff, but are actually microbial imbalances on the scalp. Now let's talk about behind the ears. This region is particularly treacherous. It's a small crease that gets very little airflow and even less direct water contact. When sweat, skin oils, and dead cells accumulate here, they don't just cause odor, they become the launch pad for bacterial colonies. Older adults often develop intertrigo, an inflammatory condition that forms in moist skin folds behind the ears. The bacteria can then enter the lymphatic system through microabrasions or scratches and lead to localized or systemic infections. That's what happened to Charles. Another hidden hotspot? Under the fingernails. It may seem minor, but under each fingernail lies a rich collection of potential pathogens. Studies show that this small sliver of space can contain more bacteria than a public toilet handle. Older adults, due to reduced dexterity and vision, often have trouble trimming and cleaning their nails. Over time, food particles, skin debris, and environmental contaminants collect. Fecal bacteria like E. coli and Enterobacter can be found here. Combine this with face-touching habits and the risk of self-inoculation, introducing germs into your eyes, nose, or mouth skyrockets. And finally, we come to the groin and surrounding skin folds. This area is perhaps the most misunderstood and least talked about. Age often brings reduced muscle tone and elasticity, leading to deeper creases and folds, especially in the groin, under the abdomen, and between the thighs. These folds trap moisture, which combines with warmth and friction to create an ideal environment for bacteria and fungi. I've seen cases where simple neglect turned into painful abscesses, fungal overgrowth, and even MRSA infections. What begins as irritation can evolve into something far more dangerous if not treated, or better, prevented. So how do we stop this? The answer isn't complex, but it does require intention. Let me walk you through a doctor's hygiene routine, something I personally recommend to every patient over 60. Start with the shower, lukewarm water, never too hot, as hot water can strip natural oils. Use a soft washcloth, not a loofah. Loofahs harbor bacteria. Begin with the scalp. Spend a full minute massaging your scalp with your fingertips, ensuring you reach the crown and nape. Rinse thoroughly. Move down to the ears. Gently pull back the lobes and clean behind them. Rinse with water and pat dry. For your belly button, take a clean cotton swab soaked in warm water and mild soap. Gently clean the inside, not too deep, just enough to remove debris. Rinse and dry with care. Now focus on the hands. After washing thoroughly, take a soft nail brush and clean under the fingernails. Do this at least once daily. For the groin area, pay attention to every fold. Gently lift and cleanse each fold with soap and water, and after drying, apply an antifungal or antibacterial powder, especially in humid climates or during summer. Charles adopted this exact routine. Within 6 weeks, his symptoms vanished. We repeated his blood tests. His inflammatory markers had dropped. His skin looked healthier, and more importantly, he felt confident again. He and his wife finally took that trip to Italy they had postponed for 3 years. As a physician, I've seen what happens when these simple practices are ignored. Sepsis, necrotizing fasciitis, chronic fungal infections, pressure ulcers that become infected. All of these can begin with a little moisture and neglect. But I've also seen the transformation when patients start respecting their bodies with daily care. This isn't fear-mongering. This is science. The human body, especially over 60, requires active maintenance, like any well-used machine. And just because a part of you isn't visible, doesn't mean it doesn't matter. So today, take this story not just as advice, but as a wake-up call. Because the truth is, cleanliness isn't just about appearance. It's about health, survival, autonomy, and even dignity. You deserve to age without being betrayed by infections born from neglect. Start now. Teach others. Talk to your parents, your grandparents, your patients, your friends. These 5 body parts may seem unimportant, but ignoring them could cost you your health. So the next time you shower, remember Charles. Remember that doctor who asked a simple question that changed a life. And maybe, just maybe, you'll save your own. If you found this eye-opening, don't keep it to yourself. Someone you love might need this more than you know. Because when it comes to your health after 60, what you don't clean can hurt you most. As we age, our bodies go through changes that make us more vulnerable to infections, especially in spots we forget to clean. What used to be minor hygiene slips can turn into serious health risks after 60. That's why small daily habits can make a huge difference. Let's be clear, this isn't about being dirty, it's about being unaware. Places like behind the ears, under the nails, or inside the belly button aren't areas we normally think about, but they're perfect places for harmful bacteria to grow if left untouched. We saw this with Charles, a healthy man in his 60s whose mystery symptoms came from something as simple as not cleaning behind his ears. Once he changed his hygiene routine, his health improved dramatically. That's how powerful these small changes can be. Here's a quick list of the 5 body parts you should give extra attention to. Belly button. Clean it gently with a cotton swab. Scalp. Massage and rinse thoroughly during every wash. Behind the ears. Wipe and dry daily. Under the fingernails, scrub them with a soft brush. Groin and skin folds. Wash and keep dry to avoid bacteria and fungus. You don't need fancy products or hours in the bathroom. Just a few intentional minutes every day can protect you from rashes, infections, and even more serious conditions like sepsis. Think of this as maintenance, not for beauty, but for your long-term health. Getting older doesn't mean giving up control. In fact, routines like this help you keep control of your health, your comfort, and your confidence. These habits are simple, doable, and backed by real results. So take this message to heart. Add these steps to your routine. Share them with someone you care about, because a little extra care in the right places could add years of health and peace of mind.